you feel debates in the House of Commons are constructive?
For the most part, I don't feel they're constructive. It's just political rhetoric back and forth. And I've had hopes when different governments have come in and promised that it will be more constructive, but I don't. I think it's gone worse as we've gone on. Not to blame it on any particular politician, but I don't think it's terribly constructive, unfortunately.
I think it depends on everybody's mood that day, honestly. I know those meetings can go for a very long time and people get worn down very, very fast. I do think progress can be made there.
From what I have seen, I've noticed that there are times where not a whole lot is being talked about. It seems as though people are more concerned about getting a word in than they are about actually addressing problems.
I've watched a few of them myself. It seems more like a spitting match up there now than it is anything constructive getting done. It more or less seems like they're just making fun of each other versus actually getting anything done. So from what I see, it just seems like it's one jab after another versus anyone actually putting something forward that really is meaningful to help the country.
No, most of the times when there's the House is open, whether it be provincially or federally, there's a lot of it's a camera stunt most of the time. Where's the camera? I can talk today, and regard what they accomplished, and they act like children sometimes. And this is a House Assembly that's supposed to be making rules and regulations and to govern our nation or our province, and they're not doing business in the right way. If they were in the private sector, they'd be fired.
No, not really. No, because a lot of those debates, it should be the governments, the different parties should be coming on side, especially when it's a major thing that makes so much difference to the people of the country. But what it is they just keep spatting back and forth, like one is trying to down the other instead of trying to get improvements.
I find that they're a bad example of what you're showing any young person of how to behave. You know, I watch it a couple of times and I got to turn it off because people ask the same question over and over again. They get the same answer over and over again, and it doesn't seem like anything gets done. It's like, watching school children, fight in class. That's what it's like to just, I don't know. I expect more, I guess, from educated people. And I'm not getting what I want when I watch it.
I do feel that, and I think that everybody has forgotten how it is in the House of Commons. There is debate, there's a bit of roughhousing. That's the way it's always been. And people saying, it's not politically correct this day and age, but that's the way it's always been. So you have to, people that have been there for a long time, you have to give them a little bit of leeway if they want the rules to change. And if they want the rules to change in the House of Commons, they have to make the rules and then everybody can change.
From what I've observed, politicians are always going to try and gain political advantage by asking certain questions that lead down a certain path. That's always going to be a part of the process, but I think there should be a bigger focus on trying to do the right thing. There's a little bit too much division between the parties, and I don't think there's enough collaboration. So I think that would be my general feeling on it.
To a small degree, but for the most part, there could be a better way of doing this.
What would that better way be, do you know?
Like I said, I haven't had time to analyze that, but I don't know. But there's got to be a better way. Someone that really understands politics should devise a better way than that, you would think. But I'm not an expert, but it just seems like nothing gets done in politics. I'm sorry, They promise you all these things, pre-election. Nothing changes.
A little bit. I've only listened to a few. I find there's a lot more like yelling back and forth, a little bit more like ridiculing than sometimes getting serious discussions done. So I find they could be a little bit more productive.
Constructive is a tough word. I think that sometimes they don't necessarily represent the values of the Canadians that they're supposed to represent. And while I don't watch every single debate every single time, I have seen some recordings of them getting a little disrespectful. Heated might be a word.
That's fair. I agree. I feel like they could be more productive. I think that there's a lot of times where the point gets away from us and we get caught up in the little things, and then it just leaves the people who are involved in those issues kind of stuck to the side.